Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am going to be beginning here in just a few minutes. For those of you that registered but were unable to attend, you will get this recording and you can rewatch this. So I am Tavia, your functional nutritional practitioner and holistic health coach. Welcome to this little brief webinar training all about the 5 things your doctor maybe has not told you about your lab work. Maybe you don't know about your lab work, some hidden things in your lab work, perhaps. And so I'm just going to go over a few of those things. I will not be doing independent like lab analysis per individual. For that, you need to book an appointment with me and we can do that on personal, but I am going to give you some examples and show you some other people's labs of what's normal, what's not normal, and what to look for in your own lab work. And I hope that you will get out of this some good nuggets of information where you can go, oh, wow, I wasn't checked for that, or, oh, I need to be checked for that. That is my goal, is to alert people of there's things that get missed all the time in lab work that I see and that comes through my office quite frequently, if I'm honest. I had a gal just a couple of weeks ago and she went to the ER and in pain, they couldn't figure out what was going on. And I said, bring me your lab work. And she had a very good infection going on. And so I told her to go back to her PCP and get some medication. So there's things that are missing a lot. And it's very frustrating for me as a practitioner to see this. For me, I went 10 years undiagnosed before they actually diagnosed me with Lyme disease. And I just real quick too, I want to make sure if you guys can hear me okay. I know I've muted you all. Can you just put in the chat that you can hear me? That would help me out just to make sure I'm not talking gibberish here to no one. Just let me know in the chat down below. Okay. All right, great. Thanks, Rena. Wonderful. So without further ado, what I'm going to do, this is being recorded, just FYI, everybody will be muted. Again, like I said, this will be recorded so that others that couldn't attend, that had pre-registered, they will get the full recording here, and it'll be uploaded. So, and you can always go back and look at it again. So what I want to do is I'm going to open up a whiteboard here. I don't have a presentation because presentations are great, but in this case, it's going to be a whiteboard and I'm going to show you some things, but I'm also going to bring up a lab too, and to show you some examples. So first things first, I'm going to open up a little screen here. Oops, I don't want that. Share my screen here. I'm going to do a whiteboard and I want to share this. So what are we talking about today? So we are talking about CBC lab work. So most of us have got a CBC. It stands for complete blood count lab work. If you're living, breathing right now, usually everyone on earth has had a CBC done in their lifetime. What I do see is a lot of people don't get their CBC done as frequently as I would recommend or like them to. A complete blood count is a snapshot in time of your labs or your blood of what is actually going on at a metabolic level. There's also what we call a CBC with differential, they say with diff or differential. That shows a little bit more of what's going on. I like to see this one done more than just the basic CBC, and I'll share with you why in a few minutes. But the reason why is because this one shares a little bit more information, a little bit more data that I can give you some tell a little bit more what's going on. All right. So if you've ever had a CBC and your doctor said, oh, everything looks fine, go on with your life, we'll see you in 6 months to a year, and you're still not feeling well, you're in the right place because this is what this is about today. So like I said, I went 10 years undiagnosed. My blood work was actually pretty perfect, or so they told me. When you get down to the nitty gritty of what was really going on in my blood work, it wasn't so perfect, actually. And now I know what they were talking about. And so I'm going to pull up here. Well, actually, before I do that, this is what we're going to talk about, the top 5 things that are missed in CBC panels. And that are viruses, bacteria, bacterial infections, A lot of times food sensitivities can be picked up just by a basic blood work. Also, a lot of times I can check for parasites, but a lot of times doctors don't know how to do this, or they just don't want to deal with it. So they overlook this. And then fifth, a lot of times we can look at and find a little virus called Epstein-Barr virus that is missed a lot, and it's very, very predominant. It's very common. I'd say about 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people have Epstein-Barr virus, EBV. It's the virus that causes mono. If you've ever had mono, you have EBV in your system. So these are the top 5 things that are missed. And you think that's so silly, Tavia, because, you know, you'd think that they would look at that. Well, you think. So I am going to pull up here another new share here. We're going to do another screen here. And give me 1 second here. Going to move a couple things around. We're going to pull this up right here, if it will let me. Okay. All right. I hope that everybody can see this. This is a CBC with differential, what I was talking about. So this blood work is like what I like to see. And the CBC with just basically without the differential doesn't tell me all of the neutrophils, monocytes, lymphocytes, all the things like that. So why is this important? So first of all, a CBC without the differential doesn't tell me a lot of this stuff. It doesn't tell me how your liver is doing, how your kidneys are working, things like that. So a lot of times I will just get a basic CBC panel done, or doctors will just look at it and say, oh, you're fine. But we need to dig a little deeper, especially if the patient is not doing well. So this blood work up here, these ranges and stuff, I want to point out to you over in this reference interval over here. These references are general lab markers for the general population. They are not always optimum. I will say, like for white blood cells, we want it under 10. So this person's white blood cells is beautiful. It's really beautiful. And the red blood cells is actually beautiful. This is actually really, really good labs overall. There's no inherent problems that I see so far here. But I want to point some things out that are interesting. So when it comes to the interesting things that we want to look at, is one thing is the neutrophils, the monocytes, and the lymphocytes here. I wish that I could draw. I think I can. There we go. So there's the neutrophils, the lymphs, the monos, the eos, bios, all those right here are what we're going to kind of focus on. And why are we focusing on this? So what are neutrophils and what are monocytes? So neutrophils fight bacteria, okay? In case you didn't know, lymphocytes fight viruses, and monocytes also fight viruses as well. And eosinophils are indications of food sensitivities and parasites. Okay, so when I look at labs, I don't just look at these ones all up here. Okay, you guys, I look down here to see what's kind of going on. That's where I do the math. That's where we look at these things here. You'll also notice down here on this labs, there's a lipid panel. I also like to look at lipid panels. This says high for cholesterol. Actually, 214 is not bad at all. And I've been told that you can't see the labs. So let me make sure that's showing. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So here's what we were talking about here. The neutrophils, lymph, monocytes, eosinophils, basophils, those are the ones we want to look at. And those are the ones that are the hidden ones that I've been talking about that I wanted to point out. Are we fighting a bacteria? Are we fighting a virus, a hidden virus? Are we fighting something in here? So neutrophils, especially if they're over like 60%, that will tell me some kind of bacteria could be going on. You can see that it's in normal range. It says not established, but in a functional range, we like to have lower than 60. So there might have been some kind of little bacteria, something going on, but we look at other factors too, like the white and the red blood cells, and these are pretty normal. So we may not go dig much into it. Now the neutrophils are another fun one. We would like them under 30. These were right in there. So there might have been some little virus in there. Again, a little dormant virus that could be going on in there. But again, we got to look at the whole big picture here. So I also look at, for people, I look at symptoms, okay? What are your symptoms? So if this is popping up, you know, and then we're having chronic fatigue issues and other issues, then we might want to look at EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, see if there's something going on there, something else, okay? So again, monocytes too are also virus as well. Let's see there. Monocytes were at 5, and we like that. Good. We like that between 4 and 7. So that was pretty good. And then we go down to eosinophils here, EOS, they call it, and there's EOS absolute down here. And it's at 1. EOS, which is an interesting marker, is one that can also dictate food sensitivities and parasites. So if anything's over like 3%, 0 to 3 is normal. This was 1, so it's good. But if we have anything over 3, we might look at parasites to see what's going on. It's funny to write this with this. We also might want to look at food elimination diet. Okay. So those are 2 things right there. Actually 4 things right there. Again, the doctor may go, oh, these are all happy, great, yay. These are great here, but we got to do the math. And so one of the things too is I'll do some mathematical equations, also do some of these values down here, and I'll add them up and kind of compare them. And if they don't mix, then we go to plan B and we look things a little bit deeper. You hear me talk a lot about root cause. That's what I do. Excuse me 1 second. All right. Looks like you guys can see the screen now. Excellent. So that is one thing that, I guess one thing, those are the 4 things that we need to look at a CBC. So the other thing is too, is, I want to share with you too, is, I guess I could show these ones here. So red blood cells, hemoglobin, hematocrit, MCV, MCH, MCHC, and the RDW. These ones right here are another fun ones to look at. These ones, if these are all in normal range, these are all indications of, we can look at anemia or iron. How many of you know or have been diagnosed with anemia or been said you've been anemic? So these are all markers for that. And also, so if these markers are low, it's gonna be an iron deficiency. If we have an indication of these are high, guess what we have? We possibly have a B vitamin deficiency. Ha ha, whoever told you that? So again, as a nutritionist, a functional nutritional practitioner, I like to look at vitamin nutrients as well. So these are other small little things right here that you may not have ever heard of before. So as a functional nutritional practitioner, these are things that we dive into a little bit deeper, and not just go at the general ranges. The other thing is too, guys, these ranges over here, these are all, like I told you, they're very, they're for the general public. They group this all together, same age from, you know, kids maybe a little bit different, but generally, it's all adults. We're all grouped in this, and functional range and optimal range are very different. These are like, oh, you're okay. You're not gonna, we don't see a huge problem. until we're over like this number, right? But for me, like I said, we like to be 10 or under for your white blood cells. Just to reiterate, what are white blood cells? Those are your fighters, guys. Those are your fighters. So when you have infection, we need white blood cells. If you have anything lower, right here, this is 3.4. I don't like it lower than 4. I like it between 4 and 10. We got a problem. Okay. I'm going to go down here really quick. This is iron again. These were really good results. A lot of times I do like people to check their iron. This is your total TIBC, stands for total iron binding capacity. And then we have the iron saturation and our total iron. All of these are great in good normal ranges. And then going back up here to cholesterol, I do want to touch on cholesterol really quick. Cholesterol they like it under 200. Guys, I will tell you right now, this is not a bad cholesterol number. Either one of these this was previous and today. Those aren't bad. And why? Because, the LDL was just a tear over. It was a little bit high. LDL is your bad cholesterol. Okay, so that one needs to be a little bit lowered. The HDL was good though. We want to be over 39, was at 46, so that was good. And then the trigs were really good too. So I look at everything, not just the total cholesterol. Triglycerides, if those were high, we'd be concerned. If we had no good cholesterol, we'd be concerned. The LDL cholesterol, that can be just also another FYI. Cholesterol lives or is stored in the liver. And so when we see high cholesterol in a person, we got to look at their stress. We look at what they're eating. Are they consuming a lot of alcohol? They can have what's called a fatty liver. And so cholesterol doesn't just mean we're eating a lot of fats in general, but it can also be from stress. It can be from another hidden infection like EBV, something like that up here. So the liver is our filter. So cholesterol acts as a protecting agent. And so this doesn't even concern me really. Okay. I'm going down here a little bit further. This is another CBC with differential. This is someone else's CBC. I wanted to point out this one here. This was pretty good labs overall. I did notice the neutrophils were a little high here. So what were neutrophils again? Bacteria, guys. So this person something was going on here with bacteria. Let's see. And the other thing that I noticed on this, here's another one. And by the way, this woman's lab, her doctor said everything was fine. There was nothing to be concerned about. And I said, let me look at your labs. Her red blood cells were high. This, again, remember we talked about before, that could be B vitamin or anemia. Actually, it was high. So if they were high, then it's B vitamin deficiency. And she's chronically tired, she says, chronically tired. So we need to probably run a panel and check her B vitamins. Okay. Excuse me. Basophils were good, monocytes, everything else was pretty good, but this may constitute, she may be needing some B vitamins. How simple is that, right? But again, she was told everything's normal. Okay, coming back down to here, this is, again, the CMP. We want the CBC with CMP, like I said. Albumin, ALT, and AST. I want to point something out here. This, guys, this is why I want, again, to do a CMP with differential, because this is liver. These two are liver stuff. And she was on the high side. Again, she was told everything was fine. There's nothing wrong with your labs. Well, obviously there is. We have a B12 deficiency. We have some liver issues. What else? There was something else going on up here, possibly a bacterial infection. All of this got missed. You see why this is so important? It's crucial. CO2 was normal range. Even her creatinine was getting up there. This is kidney stuff. Okay. To me, that's not normal range. That's too high. If it's over that, it's too much. Her chloride was even a little bit high there, 103. Bun was 17. This is all kidney liver stuff. Bilirubin was okay. So again, normal. She was told she was normal. Is she normal? No. There's things that need to be worked on here. And then lastly, again, this was the A1C. If you know what A1C has to do with diabetes. And she is clearly out of range. Here's the range. She's over here. Wow. Okay. So is she pre-diabetic? Possibly. Yes. I don't diagnose, but I'll let the doctor figure that out, but the doctor did not figure that out. So we have some things going on here that definitely got missed, right? All right. So as you can see, I want to wrap this up pretty quick. This is about 25 minutes is all I wanted to talk about today, but I wanted to give you a brief example of how things get missed. And it's so easy to get missed, and I see it all the time. So if you have some recent labs, let me take a second look at them for you. I would love to do that for you. We can book a private session to do that. And we can go over your labs wholeheartedly, so I can go through everything with you one-on-one. And then I'll give you recommendations right on the spot. I'll also give you anything that any further testing that I feel we need to do with your PCP. I can send recommendations out. I can send referrals out. There are certain labs that I can do also for you if you're interested. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover. If you have any questions in the chat right now, please put them in the chat. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover really quick. I think I got it. Oh, another lab that I'm going to put over in the chat is an important one to check is CRP. C-reactive. My caps lock was on. Protein. C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is also something that I highly recommend to get checked. And what that is it checks your level of, basically the best way to describe it is your blood's running through the veins. It kind of checks to see the stickiness of it and if you are at risk for cardiovascular disease. So when I was really sick with Lyme disease, my CRP was like off the charts. It was like 14. You're not supposed to be over like 1. So they're like, you're at major risk of having a stroke or a heart attack. And it was because my inflammation was so high from being so sick. And so this hardly ever gets checked unless a functional medicine doctor usually knows how to do this. And I'm not bashing other doctors. There's other doctors, of course, know about this, but it doesn't get done enough. And I think it's really important if someone is complaining about joints, being sick all the time, not feeling well, just overall fatigue, anything, we need to look for this marker. We need to look and see if there's chronic inflammation going on. And then again, digging into that root cause of actually why this person is feeling yucky. Why? Okay. So that's another one. So in conclusion, in summary, I'm going to wrap this up really quick. Okay. We talked about the CBC. We talked about CBC with differential. We talked about the top 5 missed things in CBC: viruses, bacteria, food sensitivities that can be picked up as well. Parasites. I didn't touch on that too much, but that is a clear marker again in the eosinophils. If those markers are high, we can look for parasites. And then EBV. And then lastly, I talked about the C-reactive protein to check for cardio health. And also, we want to check for inflammation. And then we want to find the root cause. Always find the root cause, right, guys? Okay. Okay. That is my mini version tonight. Again, I could talk about this all day long. There's so many other things I could go into. There's other lab works. Thyroid panel also, that's a whole nother topic I could probably do on just alone is thyroid. I might just do that because thyroid is a whole nother, yeah, it's in itself. I could talk about that for a half hour. But there's other things that need to be checked as well. But these are the things that, like I said, that I see them, that I check, that are missed the most. And we need to make sure that we are checking. So I will leave on that note. I hope everybody enjoyed this information. And if you have any questions, again, you can reach out to me. You can email me. at info@healthcoachtavia.com. You can call me, or you can check out my website later on and make an appointment as well. Sweetcoachtavia.com is my landing page where you can make appointments for me. If you'd like to discuss your lab work on a one-on-one basis and get real recommendations and where you should and see what's going on with you, let's do it. So, all right, guys, thanks for attending and have a good night. Bye-bye.